It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Monday. This is the first game of four scheduled. This would be the seventh place game featuring the Vikings of Lake.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, good morning from Glacier Peak High School in Snohomish, Washington. It is the final day of the second annual Top of the Peak Girls Basketball Tournament, which is becoming the premier mid-season basketball tournament for the girls in the state of Washington. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig. We bring you the action, 4 games today, 4 big ones. This gets us started and takes us all the way through the championship, which will start approximately 3:15. We have today in our first game the Lake Stevens Vikings from nearby against the defending 4A state champions, the Eastlake Wolves. Our presenting sponsor is Speedway Chevrolet, and let's get right to the starting lineups. First of all, for Lake Stevens, their head coach is Randy Edens. He is in his 15th year. Starting for the Vikings, 5'9", sophomore guard, Chloe Pattison. Also starting as a 5'7", sophomore guard, Baylor Thomas. 5'7", senior guard, Reagan Reed. A 6'2", sophomore forward, Corey Wilcox. And a 6'4", forward as sophomore, Camille Jentz. Also, for now, the Eastlake Wolves. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. Head coach, Sarah Goldie, in her 11th season. First of all, starting as a 6'3", senior center, Keely Burton, and she is a good one. Also starting for them, a 5'6", junior guard, Emily Holson. Starting as a 6'1", junior guard, familiar name, Haley Heward, son or daughter of Brock Heward. And then also starting as a guard will be Michaela Matsuoka. She's a 5'4" sophomore. And rounding up the starting lineup will be a 5'8" junior point guard, Caitlin O'Brien. Again, head coach Sarah Goldie. We'll take a break and then have play-by-play action coming up here on STSPN.com.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Ockett bringing you the action. Todd Elvig is here too, and we bring it to you on STSPN.com. And our officials for game number 1, Jeff McClellan, Dan Taylor, and Jim Bueller. Eastlake on the court. They've got the maroon uniforms with white lettering, silhouette numbers, which is always fun and a challenge. Oh, and there's Lake Stevens coming out in their black uniforms with the silhouette numbers as well. So, Todd, that means it's eyeglasses time because it's kind of hard to read those numbers. We're not like 500 feet away, but even up here with a fairly close vantage point, you still have to really bear down to see those numbers. And Eastlake, the defending 4A state champions, will get things started. I'll be with you all 4 games today, and I know a great job done over the past couple of days by Tom Lafferty on Saturday, Mike Buckholtz on Friday and Saturday. I did the first 2 games on Friday, and this has just been a lot of fun, Todd.
You know what? You can't have a better time than coming out to a varsity event during the holidays.
It's so true, and the level of play and the teams out here has just been fantastic.
Well, the teams,
nice finish up right there by Keely Burton as she gets Eastlake on the scoreboard. Go ahead.
You realize that O'Brien, Hill was able to get teams that finished 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the state last year.
It's absolutely incredible. Eastlake having a tremendous run last year. Finished 22-7, won the state title. 16-5 in Kinko 4A play in the regular season. There's a beauty. Baylor Thomas gets Lake Stevens on the scoreboard as they take a 1-point lead. Just a little over a minute into the first quarter. This is just something I've been so excited about over the weekend. Looking forward to being here, working with you as always, talking to the coaches, watching the players, even spending some quality time with the officials beforehand. And we know these guys pretty well, too.
Absolutely.
Being around them as much as we have through the years. Todd in his 11th year with STSPN.com, and every year it just keeps getting better. Technologically, it just is amazing what you've been able to accomplish. There is a big one again, three-pointer far off the right side. Lake Stevens gets the rebound. They go underneath. Good ball movement. Too far off the mark. That'd be the first foul of the game. Going for the basket that time for the Vikings was Corey Wilcox, and she gets fouled. Wilcox will have 2 shots for the Vikings. Foul is on number 10 as they show up there. That is Emily Holson. It will be her first foul, first team foul. Now, after I left on Friday, there's a couple more games, and one of them involved the Mount Spokane player that's going to the University of Washington. And Todd, I understand the entire Washington Husky women's basketball coaching staff and team were here.
They were. It was amazing. And, not only that, who else was here on Friday?
Tell me.
Well,
politician.
Mr. Heward.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking to see if he's here today.
No, he's working some bowl games. He said he wasn't
that's
be able to
right,
make
of course. Three-pointer, that was really nice. Who got that baby right there? That was Caitlin O'Brien. 5-3. And you may see that lead switch hands a number of times. Eastlake forcing Lake Stevens outside the arc. They worked it well. Again, one of the things you love to see is a team moving the ball extremely well, especially earlier in the season or mid-season like this. Wolves get a couple of cracks at it. Can't connect. Corey Wilcox with the rebound. She is just a sophomore. You've also got Camille Gentz out there, who is a sophomore at 6'4". Vikings will have the basketball inbounding over down below us, so they are going from your right to left on the STSPN.com screen. A lot of interest from people I talked to down there, too, about, hey, how do I hook up with your broadcast? And we have these games all archived, so that's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, today we're out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and our own server. So
that's a great way to cover the bases. We got a shot clock violation that is called against the Lake Stevens Vikings. First turnover for them, almost 3 minutes into the first quarter. Skipping right along here from Glacier Peak High School, home of the Grizzlies, and they'll be playing later on today.
Next game.
Yep, that's coming up. Scheduled for 11:45, and it seems like they've stayed pretty much on schedule. The key for these tournaments when you're putting a schedule together is to not put too many too tight. You got to allow for space in between.
Especially for us.
I was going to say, yeah, we're a big factor in that. Now, here's what's interesting, too. Lake Stevens has an RPI of number 3 in the state. That is impressive. They come into today's action 2-0 in Wesco 4A play. And a little trouble making those outside shots. Traveling called. So they are 3rd in RPI. Woodinville is number 1 in the state. And Eastlake is 20th in RPI. They enter at 2-2 in Kinko 4A, 4-5 overall. So they've almost played half their games this season. Lake Stevens is at the quarter pole. Good step-in move. Couldn't close it, but she looked good. You like to see that, not being afraid under the basket like that. I think the big thing, too, Todd, with the girls' basketball, and not trying to pick here or pick on them, they have a tendency to get a little too far under the rim and jam it under there. And I think the biggest thing, and we'll see this, I think, in the next 3 to 5 years, is them just backing off a little bit and using the glass more.
Yeah, no, you see that quite a bit. And, even when they're trying to inbound it, a lot of times yesterday they were having some trouble. They'd throw it and it would hit the bottom of the hoop. So
yeah, that's something that's to me is the next big phase that's coming in the growth of girls basketball. Eastlake got a wide open shot there. Both teams having trouble making a basket as it's been a while since they'd scored. That one's thrown away. Lake Stevens now with 3 turnovers. Well, no, she couldn't hold on to it. So 10 teams competing in this tournament. Lake Stevens is a late add one because Garfield was going to be here, but then they decided not to do any holiday tournaments this year, and they're having a strong year conference-wise down there in the Metro League.
Yep,
So
they had 3 teams pick up the slack. So
Newport, Meadowdale, and Lake Stevens. There's
correct.
a 3-pointer right there. Baylor Thomas. So 6-5 is the score. We got a 30-second timeout called by Lake Stevens. We'll take a timeout too. 3:32 to go in the first quarter. It is Lake Stevens 6 and Eastlake 5.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
We are back live. It's a low-scoring game so far here from Glacier Peak High School in the morning contest. Skip the Price is Right and be with us as we bring you this early 10 o'clock start. Eastlake with the basketball. It's been 2 3-pointers by Baylor Thomas for the Lake Stevens Vikings to account for their scoring. And Keely Burton, a 2-pointer to get Eastlake and both teams on the scoreboard. And then also Caitlin O'Brien hitting a 3-pointer. Mark Ock and Todd Elbig bringing it to you here. Down low. Oh! That defines a tough lucker, but an excellent follow-up. Making the basket, a new player in the game just a little while ago. That's Carmen Long. A 3-point lead for the Vikings, which is their biggest lead of the game. 2:45 to go in the first quarter.
yeah, I was really excited to see the Vikings today.
Oh, I like that down off the glass. Just like we were talking about, use the window, use the window.
Bank is
Ava
open.
Schmidt coming through with the basket. It's thrown out of bounds. Now Lake Stevens officially with 3 turnovers. Checking back in, or in for the first time, will be Monet Rundle, a senior guard for the Lake Stevens Vikings. Eastlake all set to go with 2:30 to go in the first quarter. Actually, a fair amount of people out here for as early as this game is. No school, though, because the kids are on 2-week break. Where's your daughter, the Glacier Peak student?
She's picking up breakfast.
Oh, very nice.
So when I see her, I'll be happy to see her.
Sure you will. You're fighting off a little bit of a bug, so
Yes,
we
I
got to get you over that. You got a lot of games coming up.
A lot of games.
Defense up tight. There's a shot clock violation. Each team with one of those now. And 1 tick under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lake Stevens will get it back. Just 1 foul committed, and that was by Eastlake. Emily Holson called for the foul. Over on the right side, shot put up. No good. Look at Lake Stevens working hard to get a follow-up there. Can't connect on it. I think as we go along in this game, we're going to see those shots start falling a little bit more. They're just a little tight this morning. Have to get used to playing this early.
Well, and I don't know what Lake Stevens has been doing in the last week or so. Did Randy tell you?
Well, some practicing in there. They've only played 5 games. There's a travel call. Also want to thank another great sponsor, McDaniel's Do-It Center, a charter sponsor going back 10 years, and they're out of Snohomish, not too far away. If we can direct you in that way for some hardware today or this week, we'd be glad to do so, right?
Absolutely. Those guys have been with us since the start.
Pull-up jumper, and that is a work of art. Reagan Reed connects on it. Lake Stevens up by 3 points again at 10-7, under a minute to go first quarter.
Reagan Reed, you know, called her name a lot last year, but she's just a machine.
Yeah, senior averaging 20 points per game. Good follow-up, couldn't quite get. That's a load to deal with underneath the basket. Keely Burton keeps working hard, and she's going to draw the foul, head to the foul line with 2 shots, 36 seconds to go. Foul is going to go on Camille Gentz, her first foul. Team foul number 1. As Burton goes to the line, has 2 points. This is her first trip to the line. First trip for either team, actually. Kaylin O'Brien back in the lineup for Eastlake. That second one is good. Burton has some big numbers, Todd. She averages 19 points and 16 rebounds per game.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a co-captain with Haley Heward. Heward not too shabby herself, 13.6 rebounds a game.
If Heward gets warmed up, you're in trouble too.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen that yet. As Heward is, again, co-captain and just a junior. Burton is a senior. They both play AAU ball for Northwest Blazers. We got the foul. That one goes against Ava Schmidt, her first, second team, and 2 shots. At the foul line is Emma Lund. She connects on the first one. Chance to get that lead back up to 3 points. Eastlake is led by 2 twice.
Well, you're on fire today.
I am loving this. Pull-up jumper off the backside of the rim. Look at Burton fighting for the rebound, gets it. She averages 16 of those, and you can see why. She's already got 3 in the game. Foul going to the basket. Could be 2 shots for Baylor Thomas. Foul is going to go against Emily Holson. That is her second foul. Third team foul, and here come those 2 shots. Thomas has hit 2 3-pointers in the game. Actually, this is the second trip to the line for Lake Stevens. Earlier, Emma Lind hit 2 shots. One coming through just a little while ago. Misses the first shot. Let's get it up to 2-point lead right here. I see breakfast has arrived. Looks like you guys probably hit the same McDonald's I did. And that is going to be the end of the first quarter in a close one. After 1 quarter, Lake Stevens is leading Eastlake 12-11 here at Glacier Peak High School. Second annual Top of the Peak tournament. We'll be back with second quarter action. Stay tuned here on STSPN.com.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
All right, folks, it's second quarter action here at Glacier Peak High School. I'm Mark Ockett. Thanks for being with us this morning. Todd Elvig is here. Sarah is now here and has brought breakfast to you. So you are feeling better. Nearly stolen away. Eastlake player getting a hand on it, and that is Haley Heward. Man, I tell you, I can remember hearing when those Heward girls were just like babies. You know, obviously the Heward, Damon, and Brock are in the public eye quite a bit with their announcing, so you kind of hear about their children, and now they're in high school, nearing the senior level. Like Damon Heward's son plays his quarterback, very good one at Mount Si, also in Kinko 4A. They missed a couple of shots. There's Burton once again to grab the rebound. Eastlake just getting on a great run last year, going 6-2 in the postseason to win the 4A state championship. Heward fires a monster from way outside, and that's going to go out of bounds. Haley Heward, who averages 13 points a game, is yet to get on the scoreboard. And as Todd said, watch her get hot. Look out. 3 team fouls committed by Eastlake, 1 for Lake Stevens as the defense swarms there, and there's a soft touch jumper. No good, and we do have some physical contact underneath the basket. Get that foul up there. That's going to be called against Carmen Long, her first, second team foul. Checking back in for the Vikings will be Camille Gentz. Just a sophomore. You got to like that, Todd, with the height that Lake Stevens has. Young players. Corey Wilcox is 6'2", and Camille Gentz is 6'4", and they're just sophomores. Eastlake with the ball in front court. Pull-up jumper just skids out of there. Again, both teams having some difficulty. There's a travel call against Lake Stevens. That'll be their 5th turnover of the game. So we got a timeout. Eastlake calls the timeout. 6:42 to go, second quarter. No points scored here in the quarter. It's still 12-11. Lake Stevens on top by 1 on STSPN.com. Welcome back. 6:42 to go, second quarter. Eastlake just calling a timeout. 1-point lead for the Lake Stevens Vikings at 12-11 on STSPN.com. A little tough around the baseline there, and finally that's going to the hands of the Lake Stevens Vikings. Here they come out of backcourt. Reagan Reed driving into the lane, tosses one up just inside the foul line. Doesn't get it. Rebounded by Lake Stevens. Here they go. That's off the backside of the rim, and again, they just continue to struggle from the field. Wolves into front court. Bounce pass down low. That doesn't work. And Lake Stevens will go the other way. So we're coming up on almost 2 minutes into the second quarter, and neither one of these teams that can put the ball in the hoop has scored as of yet. Maybe this time. Nope. Off to the right side. That's going to go out of bounds. Last touched by Lake Stevens. Back into the lineup for Eastlake will be Ava Schmidt. She is just a freshman. Just a freshman as they bring some new players through. They lost a couple from last year's team going on to college as well. Mae Bryant is now at Grand Canyon University down in Flagstaff, Arizona. Puts it on the floor, can't connect. Lake Stevens working for the board. There's Burton, finally. So a team finally gets some points here as Burton now has 8, got 6 in the first quarter, 2 for 2 from the line and 2 field goals. Lead has switched hands now 4 times as it's 13-12. That's a good open player on that side. You got to make those shots. She was wide open. Monet Rundle near steal. That's going to go out of bounds and last touched by Lake Stevens. Staying with Eastlake, Bayward Thomas returns to the Vikings lineup. She was out there in that first quarter. Really did a great job except from the foul line. She was 0 for 2 from the line but hit 2 3-pointers and gave Lake Stevens her first 6 points of the game. Poked away, poke check. Well, Eastlake holding on. Now we got a held ball. That's going to stay with Eastlake. 5:17 to go, second quarter. They will inbound near the Lake Stevens bench. So, yeah, you got a couple of veteran coaches out there. Randy Eden's in his 15th season, and we've been there for all of them. And Sarah Goldie in her 11th year at Eastlake. Randy Edens also does some WNBA scouting for the Los Angeles Sparks and Fred Williams. He's been connected with the WNBA for quite some time. Underneath. Out of bounds. Do we have a foul? I think we do. It looks like heading to the line will be Camille Gents as we get who this is called on. It'll be the 4th team foul against Eastlake. Foul is going to be whistled against Michaela Matsuoka. Foul shot. Boy, got to work on that.
Well, you know, this is why Randy's got him here, because, you know, to
yeah,
be able to slip them in and get a little bit of game experience going.
And that one is good. So we are tied at 13, a timeout on the floor. This is the first time the game has been tied. 4:59 to go second quarter. This is STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200+ national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A tie game at 13 apiece as these teams still just getting their act together, going early in the morning here, as they really haven't shown a lot offensively. Missed a lot of shots. A 13-13 game between Eastlake and Lake Stevens. Eastlake is listed as the home team on the scoreboard. Turnaround jumper is going to come out of there. That goes out of bounds, last touched, looks like by Lake Stevens. Team foul-wise, Eastlake has 4, Lake Stevens has 2. Breaking it down class-wise, Eastlake with 2 seniors, 3 juniors, a sophomore, and 2 freshmen. There's Heward. That's the touch we've been looking for. Three-pointer is now 16-13, and this is the biggest lead of the game for Eastlake as it matches the biggest lead for Lake Stevens, which they've had on more than one occasion. That one is swatted out of bounds, and it will stay with Lake Stevens.
Now I want to let everybody know that the shot clock on the scoreboard is 80% correct.
Yeah.
We're trying out a new score controller that connects right from the score controller.
Underneath, look at that. She get the back door. Oh, that is so close. Vikings, good passes. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Their second of the game against them. One in the first quarter, now one here in the second quarter. And Eastlake has 1 shot clock violation. As the Wolves will come out of backcourt, coming up on the midway point in the first quarter. Now, shot is looking good on the release, but can't bury it. That is Corey Wilcox with the rebound, and we have a backcourt foul called against Eastlake. That foul is going to go against Haley Heward, which would be her first and the 5th team foul. Lake Stevens will simply inbound and work it up court, down by 3 points at 16-13. They've only committed 2 team fouls. Again, underneath, but Burton is right there to put the hands up and cause that ball to go out of bounds. Great defense quickly, and an excellent adjustment by Burton to force the player to make adjustments. That's what you want to do. You want to do it if you can without leaving your feet. Burton lifted a little bit, but she did her job. That's what you got to do. Another feel-good story, Todd, out of Eastlake High School is Callie Lind. Lind was a star on that 4A state championship team last year. And then she went to the University of Washington as a walk-on, and I do public address for the Husky women's team. And a few weeks ago, I looked at the roster and went, wow, there's Callie Lind. She's on the roster. So she walked on, and then they added her. So she earned her place, and she's seen a little bit of playing time. Hit a 3-pointer the other day. against Vanderbilt. There is a big three-pointer. Actually, that three-pointer for Calvi Lind was against San Francisco. 6-point lead. 19-13. So this is the biggest lead for either team. 2:54 to go in the second quarter. You always like to see it when those players, I mean, there's so many recruited and offered scholarships, which is great and everything for the student athletes, of course. That's what you want. But then you get those ones that, through sheer determination, find a way to make the team down low. It works. Wilcox gets her first 2 points of the game. It's 19-15. But Todd, that's always great to see players walk on, work hard, and earn a place on the roster. And sometimes they'll end up getting a scholarship as they go along.
Absolutely. No, we know several players that have done that.
Yeah, it's just one of the ultimate feel-good stories. There's Caitlin O'Brien back to a 6-point lead, coming up on 2 minutes to go in the second quarter as these teams start to loosen up a little bit offensively. And there's going to be a foul on the rebound attempt. Vikings player is going to be called for it. That's going to be against Corey Wilcox, her first foul, team foul number 3. And it's just an inbound pass coming up for Eastlake. Back in for Lake Stevens is Monet Rundle, who saw action earlier. Wolves will come out of backcourt in the maroon uniforms. They're up on the Sammamish Ridge Plateau. Pretty easy to find up there. And there's a number of high schools that are stacked up right there on that main drive. Burton, that's way out. Oh, wow. Look at that. Keely Burton finding a stroke outside. Holy smokes.
You didn't expect her just to spin and throw that up.
Did not. Beautiful shot out there. She's got 5 in the quarter, 11 in the game. Averages 19, so she's on pace. And 9-point lead is the biggest for either team as Eastlake's starting to pull away a little bit here. We've got a Vikings player down. Hopefully nothing serious as Randy Edens and the trainer for Lake Stevens are going to head out there and take a look at things. 1:28 to go in the second quarter. Yeah, so you got, if you go up on the Sammamish Plateau, you've got Skyline right off the road there. You see Skyline Stadium and school right there. And then you go a little bit further, and you've got Eastside Catholic right along that same stretch. You just pull off the road, you drive in there a little ways, it's in. And then Eastlake is right at the bottom of the hill. So you got 3 of them, 2 public and 1 private school, right there within literally a couple miles of each other.
Yeah, none of them are slouches.
They're all good. The level of competition and competition within the neighborhoods up there is pretty incredible. Obviously, Skyline a power in football. They also have a very good baseball team. Eastside Catholic is pretty much phenomenal across the board. They won the state football title again here a few weeks ago. And then Eastlake, defending 4A girls basketball champions. And I get a chance to call PA for the Kinko League All-Star Feeder games out there at the end of May, early part of June. And they got a nice setup out there at Eastlake High School.
Yes, they do.
9-point lead, 1:28 to go in the second quarter. Eastlake up by 9 points. Good to see the player come off there. And now we'll reset. Again, team foul-wise, Eastlake with 6, Lake Stevens with 3. Lake Stevens has 3 seniors, 2 juniors, 4 sophomores, total of 9 players on the team. Underneath, they're moving it well. They just got to work on those shots, and it's stolen away. 7th turnover for Lake Stevens, and the Wolves go the other way. Quick break. Michaela Matsuoka coming through to make it an 11-point lead, 26-15, and a block. And the size of Eastlake certainly playing a factor with Burton down underneath. 1:03 to go in the second quarter. And foul coming up against Eastlake. This will be their 7th. Foul's going to go against Matsuoka, her 2nd. 7th team foul, so we have, it looks like 1 and 1, and at the foul line, Lake Stevens. Peyton Davidson into the game. She is a senior for Eastlake. At the line with the shots, Monet Rundle. She'll get 1 to start with, and that's all it's going to be. She will not get the second half of that one on the 1 and 1. Under a minute to go, second quarter here at Glacier Peak High School, top of the Peak tournament. Short on the shot, Lake Stevens gets the board. They're down by 11 points. They need to get a couple things done here to try to get a little momentum going into the locker room at halftime. That's not going to be what's going to work for them. Heward gets the rebound, and here come the Wolves out of backcourt across the Glacier Peak logo. Second annual Top of the Peak tournament. Glacier Peak was the champions last year. They will not be able to repeat. They're not in the championship game, which is coming up at 3:15 or scheduled to that time. There's Burton again, almost with another three-pointer. And Lake Stevens hauls the board down. Less than 20 seconds to go here in the second quarter. The shot clock is dead. Our championship game at 3:15, we'll have it here on STSPN, will feature the Todd Beamer Titans, Let's Roll, and the Kent Ridge Chargers. That's going to be an excellent matchup. And that is going to be the end of the first half with our score, Eastlake 26 and Lake Stevens 15. So in that quarter, Lake Stevens only able to get 3 points, Eastlake with 15, and they have that big 11-point lead going into the locker room at halftime. We'll take a break and then come back right before the start of the second half. This is STSPN.com.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Fred's Rivertown Ale House was established in July of 1994 and is located at 1114 First Street in historic downtown Snohomish. Each time you visit the ale house, you may expect to find new beers and new food choices. Fred's Rivertown Ale House is well known throughout the beer community. Oftentimes, we are the first choice for breweries to introduce new beers, limited or specialty beers, and beers you just won't find anyplace else. At Fred's, we like to say that once we get you through the front door, our friendly service, relaxed family atmosphere, and our quality food and beverages will keep you coming back.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
That Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Welcome back. We're at halftime, getting ready for the start of the second half. Game 1 of 4 here today in the second annual Top of the Peak tournament. And a great job by Brian Hill putting this all together, the head coach of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. They will play next. This one has Eastlake up 26-15 at the half. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig, and one of our sponsors, a great one from the beginning, Fred's Rivertown Ale House, Restaurant and Bar, there in Snohomish. Yeah, in the first quarter, Lake Stevens had a 1-point lead as we went to the second quarter. It was 12-11, and then in the second quarter, Eastlake started to find their way and outscored Lake Stevens 15-3, so they lead this by 11, 26-15. It is the biggest lead of the game for either team. Lake Stevens has led a couple of times by 3 points, but on that last lead change, the fourth switch of the game, Eastlake has taken control, and Lake Stevens needs to crank it up a little bit. They've had a hard time from the field, both inside and out. They'll be in the black uniforms, second half action, going from left to right on your screen. And Eastlake, the defending state 4A champions, in the maroon uniforms. Again, this tournament has been loaded with great teams that did extremely well in the postseason last year. Good follow-up. It's a tough break for Lake Stevens. Todd, they're doing a pretty solid job of second chance efforts, but they just can't get that ball to drop.
Well, and the thing of it is height is really helping Eastlake right now.
And there's one right there. Burton can't connect on it, but she's done a great job. Burton is the leading scorer for both teams, has 11 points, 6 in the first quarter, 5 in the second quarter, and she's hit from everywhere. 2 for 2 from the line, has made 3 field goals, 2-pointers, and 1 3-pointer. Out of bounds, Eastlake will have the ball as they now go on the other end. Look at that. Heward gets the inbound pass off the backside of the rim. Good rebound and the outlet pass ahead, but Eastlake quickly back there. Nearly stolen away. 7 turnovers for Lake Stevens in the first half, 4 for Eastlake. Again, on the RPI, Lake Stevens is at 3 with Woodinville being on top. Eastlake is sitting at 20. Put it on the floor a couple of times. Again, they cannot get that ball to fall through the net.
Somebody needs to get down there and measure that.
Man, that looked good. Seen a lot from this angle. That looked like it was going to drop in there, but doesn't work out. Here comes Lake Stevens once again. Out of backcourt they go, and we're going to have a blocking foul called against Eastlake with 6:46 to go in the third quarter. Foul is going to be whistled against Caitlin O'Brien. That'll be her second foul, first team foul. In the first half, Eastlake committed 7 team fouls. Lake Stevens had just 3. That's off the mark. Baylor Thomas now 0 for 3 from the foul line. Lake Stevens went 2 for 4 from the line in the first quarter. And then she misses again. She's struggling from the line. Has hit 2 3-pointers. She got the first 6 points of the game for the Lake Stevens Vikings with those 3 balls. That's out of bounds. This is similar to what we saw in the second quarter. Neither team has scored yet as we're almost a minute and a half into the third quarter. It's still 26-15 off the inbound pass. And still, we're just not seeing the shooting go well for either team at this point. Burton missed underneath. We got a held ball, and that's going to go the other direction to the Lake Stevens Vikings. Assistant coaches for Lake Stevens, Gil McKinney. He's been at it for quite some time. And Steve Berg. For Eastlake, their assistants are Laura Bachman and Steve Jones, as well as Megan Novak. Underneath, unless she took a wave at it, is going to be called for the foul. That'll be the second team foul called against Eastlake. Foul is called against O'Brien again. That should be her third foul. And heading to the line will be Corey Wilcox. She has 2 points, but this is her first trip to the foul line. And that one's off the backside of the rim. So they continue to struggle. In for the Eastlake Wolves is Ava Schmidt. She had 5 points in the first half and just committed 1 foul.
And we still have no points scored in this.
Yeah, in this quarter. Another one? No. Now, they're 0 for 4 from the quarter, in the quarter from the foul line, and they are 3 for 11 from the line. That is not good at all. You got to get that figured out. Lake Stevens at 5-0, 2-0 in Wesco 4A play is once again in the mix, as they always are, and very competitive. We got a held ball. That should be staying with Lake Stevens, but Eastlake, but we should have somebody get over there to inbound. The officials are going to talk it over. Are they going to switch it? No, they're going to stay. They're going to talk it over here for a second. Again, the officials are Jeff McClellan, Dan Taylor, and Jim Bueller. It's going to stay with Eastlake on that call. 6:01 to go, third quarter. They set into bound, coming a little bit far that time. Matsuoka chases it down. Now back up top, Emily Holson. Nearly stolen. Does she get it? Yeah, got to work for it. Does get it. Good play that time. Chloe Pattison staying with the basketball. Eastlake now knocks it out of bounds, and we're getting an opportunity to watch and call a lot of things other than points. Rebounds, turnovers, foul shots, missed foul shots. Kind of defense they're playing.
Into this thing.
I know it, into the third quarter. This is kind of surprising. I didn't expect that we'd see this much in the stretches of no scoring, but they just cannot seem to get that ball to drop in through the lid on either side. Heward, miss on that end again. She's missed a few shots in this one. Lake Stevens with the board. There's a good pass. Oh, and off her foot.
Oh, here we go.
An accidental kick. They go underneath. There it is. Corey Wilcox. First 2 points for either team as Randy Edens is going to call a timeout. 5:14 to go, third quarter. 26-17 Eastlake on top. STSPN.com. For Glacier Peak High School, home of the Grizzlies. Again, thank you to them and the excellent job they've been doing here. And then, Todd, all three of your children going to Glacier Peak. One's still there, Sarah, who's sitting to your left right now and brought you all that breakfast food.
Yep.
And so, again, she got a scholarship. Four-year manager for football, is that correct?
That's correct.
And
she got the Gabby
Rosenbaum.
Gabby Memorial Scholarship.
Yeah. Oh, Banker. Two-pointer. 28-17.
Yeah, the nice thing is I had all three kids lettered in football.
What's that now?
All three get lettered in football.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Even if the caboose is a girl.
Foul is going to go against Michaela Matsuoka. That should be 3 on her. Team foul number 3, and 2 shots on the way for Lake Stevens. At the line is Reagan Reed. She just has 2 points in the game, and their foul shooting woes continue. For Eastlake, checking back in is Peyton Davidson, and for Lake Stevens will be Emma Lund. Lake Stevens is 0 for 5 from the foul line here in the third quarter.
We have a text come in on a correction.
Oh?
Damon Heward's son Sam is quarterback at Kennedy Catholic.
Oh, my bad. That's right. I'm trying to think. Who's the big one over at Mount Si? Yeah, Damon Heward's son is that. That's right. That's correct. There's another son of a player at Mount Si, though. Maybe they can let us know who that is. But, yeah, Sam Heward, who I believe is going to the University of Washington, is at Kennedy Catholic, putting some big numbers up. Steal. And the basket is good. Out of bounds it goes. So the Lake Stevens Vikings getting the ball back on a couple turnovers by Eastlake. We got timeout on the floor. 28-19 is our score. 4:29 to go third quarter. We'll be back with more on STSPN.com.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
We're back live here, and we got some, what's fun, and I hate making mistakes, but this one, it doesn't bother me because we're getting a correction on it, and that means they're watching out there. So that's what we like. So Hugh Millen's son is at Mount Si, and Damon Heward's son is at Kennedy Catholic. And we got a foul called against Eastlake. It'll be their 4th team foul here in the half. That's on Emily Holson, her 3rd foul. Lake Stevens has the ball. They're down by 9. They trailed by as much as 11. They just can't get the ball to drop successfully in the basket. We got a foul. This will be called against Eastlake, their 5th team foul, and that's just another one against Holson. That's going to be 4. She's got to come out. So they committed 7 in the first half, 5 in the second half. And Lake Stevens, playing cleaner, has only been called for 4 total, 1 here in the second half. 4:24 to go, 3rd quarter. Oh, those are very close. Burton's going to get the long rebound. And here comes Eastlake out of back court. Shut off. Good D on the left side of the paint.
Oh, boy, that just looked
Man,
good from
it's
here.
just like, what do you got to do? Vikings coming out of back court. Pass over on the right side to the sophomore. Blocked out of bounds. Burton getting down there quickly. Gents was going to put it up and has it swatted out of bounds, and it will be Stevens coming out of back court, playing some defense there, getting all set up as Eastlake with the ball up top. Now to Burton down low. Look out. There it is. Burton gets it done off the pass from Heward. 13 points for Burton, her first 2 here in the second half. It's 30-19, matching their biggest lead at 11 points. The drive in and drawing a foul. Going to send Reagan Reed to the foul line with 2 shots. 16 foul against Eastlake. And the foul was against Keely Burton. That will be her first foul. Reagan Reed at the line. Lake Stevens is 0 for 6 at the line in this quarter. 3 for 13 overall. First one is good. They needed that one. Finally hit one. So it was 30-19 as the 11-point lead before that foul shot. And also Eastlake has led 26-15, which is what they had at the end of the second quarter. Makes them both. That's refreshing. Out of bounds, going to be turned over. Going back to Lake Stevens, 4th turnover of the quarter against Eastlake, 8th of the game. Lake Stevens playing a little cleaner in that regard. They also have a total of 8 turnovers, but just 1 here in the 3rd quarter. You look at those fouls, though. 6 for Eastlake, 1 for Lake Stevens. If Lake Stevens, Todd, can find some kind of way to start making shots, we got a technical foul on the floor. That's interesting. Where'd that come from? From the bench? I'm wondering if that's because I don't see, unless the player said something underneath. I mean, I saw.
Is it Reagan Reed?
Might be. She's coming over to Randy Edens, and he's talking to her a little bit. We'll get this here. That's going to be called against, looks like, yeah. We got 2 fouls coming, yeah. So Baylor Thomas is called for a foul, her first. 2nd team foul, and then you add 1 more to it. Reagan Reed called for the technical. Her first foul, 3rd team foul. So that is really going to stack it up nicely for Eastlake. They're going to send Burton to the foul line. She'll shoot the 2 technical foul shots, and then they will get the basketball. Plus, Lake Stevens gets dinged for 2 fouls during that stretch. So that wasn't a good sequence. Another missed foul shot. That seems to be the theme.
Well, you know, I always think that not having the players out there changes the depth.
Oh, it does. It's a completely different look and feel when misses them both. I think, again, and I know we've talked about this, and my pet peeves along the line in sports. In football, I hate drop passes. The ball's near you, you got to catch the ball. Baseball, one-handed catches, which is far too prevalent these days, or taking a called third strike, or a pitcher walking the leadoff batter. In basketball, missing those foul shots. There's a three-pointer. Haley Heward now with 6 points, 12-point lead. Driving through.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
This is the biggest lead of the game for Eastlake. 2:54 to go, third quarter. Poor Lake Stevens. They just have not been able to connect for those field goals. Really rough today. Traveling call.
Moved her pivot foot.
Gives it back to the Vikings with 2:44 to go here in the third quarter, and Lake Stevens is going to bring back a couple of players. Carmen Long, the junior, and Corey Wilcox will check in. They are replacing Emma Lund and Camille Jentz. Our next game, scheduled for 11:45, looks to be on schedule. Features the host team, Glacier Peak Grizzlies, off the mark again, and they will play against the Lincoln Abes. Lincoln has struggled. They've lost a couple of games in the tournament so far. Glacier Peak is 1-1.
Boy, I tell you, the teams that have really impressed me is Kent Ridge, Mount Spokane, and Todd Beamer.
Yeah.
They just really have some good programs. Boy,
I got to call the Beamer game on
Of course, I like
Friday.
Glacier Peak too, right?
Well, of course you do, and we
Homeschool.
both do. It's it's a host school. We know them well. 2:01 to go, third quarter. Held ball, and that's going to go to the Lake Stevens Vikings again in the black uniforms with the silhouette numbers and letters. Eastlake at least has the white across, but they've also got the silhouette. So again, as I mentioned earlier, that's when you pull out the
Binoculars?
eyeglasses, the binoculars. That's when you pull out the telescope from the observatory and try to figure out what they're wearing.
This one's going down.
Oh, taken away.
Jinxed her.
Eastlake will come out of backcourt. 12-point lead, very much in command of things here. That is an NBA three out there, and she does not connect. Lake Stevens with the board. They got a 3-on-0 break. If they didn't make that, you just really got to shake your head.
Well,
Corey
we know the ball
Wilcox.
fits.
6 points in the quarter. 8 points in the game for the sophomore. 1:13 to go, third quarter. Here come the Wolves. Burton gets it from Heward, and it is good. Burton with 4 in the quarter, 15 in the game. We got a full timeout called by Eastlake. They're up by 12, matching their biggest lead of the game, 35-23. This is STSPN.com, broadcasting worldwide.
Yes, we are.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do It Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
12-point lead, 1:11 to go, third quarter. Eastlake matching their biggest lead of the game. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig. Sarah Elvig here as well.
Couldn't do it without her.
No, she does a great job. She's really captured the passion of what we do. Certainly from a technical standpoint, she's been a great asset. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Lake Stevens has the basketball. Baylor Thomas with the rock up high. That's a nice looking pass. Thought we might have a foul on the bump. Now there's a push off on the rebound with 51 seconds to go in the third quarter. I think they're calling for 2 shots as well. That foul is going to go against Burton. It'll be her second, 7th team. So Eastlake getting 7 for the second half in a row. At the foul line with 2 shots will be Corey Wilcox. She is 0 for 2 from the foul line and now goes to 0 for 3. They have just struggled from the stripe. They are 2 for 9 from the foul line here in the third quarter. And overall 5 for 16. 5 for 17. Now what? We got to push. They're just out of bounds. Looks like it's just out of bounds. 12-point lead for the Wolves. Chance to expand on that here as they will come out of backcourt. Emily Holson with the ball, and Vikings putting a little heat on. No problem for the Wolves to break that. Oh, sweet. Ava Schmidt now with 7 points. 14-point lead, 37-23. Coming up on 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Not looking good for Lake Stevens, and there's another indication of it. Third turnover of the quarter, 10 in the game now. And Eastlake will have it. No time on the shot clock, 28 seconds on the quarter clock. I'm sure they'll work for the 1 shot unless they get a fast break or throw it away like that. 6th turnover of the quarter, 10th of the game. There's a drive down right side. And it looks like we got a foul with 2 shots coming up. That's going to send Lake Stevens to the foul line. Should be Monet Rundle, and the foul that time is on Haley Heward. That would be her 2nd foul. 8th team foul. We're going to see a lot of shots for Lake Stevens in the fourth quarter, but they've had so much struggles with that throughout the game. At the line is Baylor Thomas. Oh, they get one. Baylor's now 1 for 5 from the line. Checking back in for Eastlake is Peyton Davidson, the senior. Thomas with 9 points, had 6 on 2 3-pointers in that first quarter. Off it goes as the theme continues. 13-point lead, 37-24.
So the Wesco foray.
6 seconds, 5. Burton does not get that one to fall in there for a basket, but she is fouled and will have 2 shots.
Wesco foray.
Hold on just a second. Okay. We got that's team foul number 4 as Burton goes to the line. The foul is going to go against Carmen Long, her 2nd, as Burton gets set to go. Go ahead.
So Wesco foray, we've got Lake Stevens at 2-0, 5-0 overall. Glacier Peak 2-0, 5-2. So they've played 7 games, 2 more games than Lake Stevens.
Yeah.
Kamiak 3-3 overall, 1-1 in the division.
That drops home for Burton. She'd missed 3 in a row. Back to a 14-point lead. 2 seconds, 1 off the glass. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of 3 quarters. It is Eastlake 38 and Lake Stevens 24. In that quarter, Eastlake scored 12 points. Lake Stevens was able to come up with 9. So we'll take a break. Then it is fourth quarter action. Yeah, Lake Stevens still in this one, even though down by 14. They start making baskets. It could get close. That means you want to stick around. It's STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Welcome back. Now it's time for the fourth quarter. A 14-point lead for Eastlake. Leading scorer for both teams is Keely Burton, the senior. Average is 19. She's got 16 in this one. But 1 for 6 from the foul line. She's hit 1 3-pointer. Lake Stevens going to get a steal there. There you go.
All
Should be no problem. Taking it in is Chloe Pattison, her first 2 points of the game. Well, look at the pressure defense coming on right now. And double dribble, dribbling violation. Lake Stevens cranking it up to start things off in the fourth quarter. And like I said, Todd, before we hit the break, stick around. You just never know. We know Randy Edens, in his 15th season at Lake Stevens, he is not going to go away or take his girls away in any way, shape, or form. So they're going to go strong right to the end. Good pass. She had a wide open look. Could have cut it to 9 with the 3 ball there. But instead, Eastlake gets the rebound. Here they come the other direction. Again, our next game will be at 11:45, Glacier Peak and Lincoln. There's Burton coming through again. 18 points for Keely Burton. Lake Stevens into front court now. Pull-up jumper. Bingo! Reagan Reed. 7 points. Hits her first three-pointer of the game. And that is the first three-point basket made by Lake Stevens since the first quarter. Burton misses, gets it again, can't connect. They fight for it underneath. Good physical contact, no foul. Out of bounds, last touch by Eastlake, and it will be Lake Stevens' ball. An 11-point lead for the Wolves, and here's a chance for Lake Stevens with a 3-ball to cut it to 8, Todd. Let's make a game out of this.
Oh, it's going to, you got Reagan Reed, you know, she's just going to.
Pull up at the line, yes! What did you call that? Reagan Reed now, 5 in the quarter, 9 in the game. Pressure defense. Eastlake breaks it into front court. Good pass to Heward. Underneath, no foul, knocked out of bounds. You got to like the defense. Underneath that time was Camille Gentz. It will be Eastlake ball, and Lake Stevens starting to get in their heads a little bit. There's Heward, 3-pointer. That's going to come out of there. Looks like a held ball. That's going to Lake Stevens. So, Todd, now if they hit a 3-ball, they could cut that deficit to 6 points after being down by 14. A 2-ball cuts it down to 7 and cuts it in half from what it was.
Well, Reagan, she's a player. When she gets down like this, she says no.
Pull up, does it again. Reagan Reed is in a zone. 7 points in the quarter, cut it down to a 7-point deficit. They're a little bit out of position right there. Drive in, miss on the shot. Wolves fighting for it. And we're going to have a timeout. I believe that's a full timeout called by Eastlake. 6:02 to go, fourth quarter. This one's heating up. 40-33, Eastlake leading Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens is on a roll as they have scored 9 points already here in the fourth quarter. We'll be back with more.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Welcome back, 6:02 to go, fourth quarter. It's tightened up. Lake Stevens coming through, 11-2 run to start the fourth quarter against Eastlake. Oh, Eastlake moving well. That's Keely Burton. You cannot give her any space. She's got 4 in the quarter, 20 in the game, less than 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It's back to a 9-point lead for the Eastlake Wolves.
Burton has that backboard dialed.
And she does a good job of breaking that up. As going through is Reagan Reed, trying to get it done again. She's got 7 in the quarter. Has looked fantastic both with her ball handling and her shooting. But Burton shuts her down. Underneath to Burton again. I tell you, there were 3 Lake Stevens players in there. They could not shut down Burton, who now has 6 in the quarter, 22 in the game, averages 19 points per game and 16 rebounds. That's sweet, averaging a double-double.
Oh, my.
Down it goes. Reagan Reed, 10 in the quarter, 14 in the game. Her and Burton having a little contest. Reed nearly steals the ball away. Team foul wise, Eastlake's at 8. Lake Stevens is at 4. Checking back in for the Vikings will be Corey Wilcox. Also back in is Bayward Thomas. And Eastlake will have the basketball. 5:07 to go, fourth quarter. I understand our viewership is real strong here this morning.
Boy, it is really good. We've got Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Pressure defense, good job by Eastlake to break through that, although Lake Stevens isn't letting up. Near midcourt, here come the Wolves over far side. Take the shot, you're wide open, unless you're not feeling comfortable from out in that range.
They left her open on purpose.
Yeah, there's Burton. I'll tell you, that's how it worked. They wanted to go inside, and it worked. Burton now continues to pile it on. 8 1/4, 24 in the game. Lake Stevens with the ball. She definitely would have to be our leading candidate for Adrenaline fundraising player of the game. Wouldn't you say, Todd?
I would have to say that.
She's just been a machine down there. And what you like to see, Todd, too, is she seems really automatic when she's close in to close on those layups, which is so big. That's going to go against Heward, her third, 9th team foul. So 2 shots for the Vikings either way after this. At the foul line is Corey Wilcox. She's 0 for 4 from the line. There you go. Got to make these. Lake Stevens is now 7 for 20 from the foul line. That's only 35%. You want to get 70% or better at least. Hits them
Look
both.
at that. There you go. That raises the
Little rattler on that one. We got a timeout called by Lake Stevens. It's an 8-point game. 4:24 to go, fourth quarter here on STSPN.com.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
Frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes? At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Welcome back. We're just taking a look at games that Lake Stevens has played so far. They opened up on Friday, December 6th against Arlington, won that 57-54. That was at Arlington. Then they beat Edmonds Woodway 79-69 on December 13th. Down Jackson by a big margin, 71-37 on December 17th. On December 20th, they won 63-33 against Mount Vernon, then beat Snohomish 65-61 on Saturday. There's a shot off the glass. That's a beauty. Heward connects. 10-point lead, 4:07 to go, fourth quarter, 48-38. Underneath, that worked.
That was off the glass, too. I got to tell you,
Yes, it was.
Some
Corey
of those
Wilcox.
shots, if they can get those inside shots, they're not always that pretty, but you know what?
Use the glass. Use the oh, there's a big foul. That's going to go against Wilcox, her second.
That's a pretty good hack there.
15 foul. It's going to be 2 shots. Haley Heward going to the line. Again, averages 13 points per game. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig bringing you the action on STSPN.com. As Heward will go to the foul line for the first time in this game. Makes it.
I'll let you know that I came from the infirmary.
Yeah. How you doing? You were kind of sweating it up earlier there.
Yeah,
sweating it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Drink a bunch of water.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Rehydrate. And don't give that thing to me.
No, that's why you're way over there.
So I've got all 4 today, and then I'm doing a Seattle Pacific University doubleheader on Thursday, men and women, and then I got a little bit of a break at this point.
My gosh,
that's
she's
beautiful.
Just money. She's just money.
Reed coming through again. That's her third three-pointer of the quarter's got 13 in the quarter, 17 in the game. Look at that pick. Get in there. Oh, 7-point differential. We got a foul. That's going to go against Eastlake. It'll be her 10th. So no matter how you slice it, it's 2 shots the rest of the way for Lake Stevens with 3:23 to go, fourth quarter.
And it's only 7 points.
Caitlin O'Brien called for her 4th foul. Lake Stevens sending Emma Lund to the line. She's 2 for 2 so far. Oh. 7-point game, cut that down to 6. Remember, it was 14 a couple of times in that third quarter for Eastlake. That's not going in. You can just see it was way off. Again, there's a golden opportunity. They could have cut it down to 5. A foul from behind. Reed's going to get called for that over-aggressiveness. That's going to be her second. They had a foul to give, so there won't be shots. It'll just be out of bounds. 50-43, 3:18 to go, fourth quarter, first game of the day. And again, up next at approximately 11:45 will be Glacier Peak and Lincoln of Tacoma. Kickball. That's going to stay with them. Game after that, scheduled for 1:30, Curtis Vikings and the Mount Spokane Wildcats. And then our championship game at 3:15, Todd Beamer Titans against the Kent Ridge Chargers. Outside,
I saw that.
That would have been a backbreaker with that distance out there and a 10-point lead if she made it. Eastlake's going to again up with the basketball again. Push off. That's going to go on Reed. Picks up her third foul, 7th foul.
Yeah, I don't know. That could have gone either way.
Looks like 1-1 coming up here. Eastlake at the line. At the foul line is Caitlin O'Brien. Doesn't connect on it. It's the morning of missed foul shots. 7 points for her. Yeah. Driving through and connecting, Chloe Patterson. 5-point lead for Eastlake, as Lake Stevens has whittled off 9 from that 14-point deficit. Timeout Vikings, 2:55 to go, fourth quarter. We got more coming up here on STSPN.com.
Their last timeout called by the Vikings. The Wolves have 1 timeout left.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
Nice spot right there, Todd, from Gamut 360 and Gamut360.com. Home builders design, create, and inspire, right?
That is correct.
Thank you for their sponsorship, Gamut 360. And I know I see their office right there by Everett Memorial Stadium. Nice to have them with us. We love all our sponsors. You help make this happen.
Well,
50 to 45. What's that?
You got to be careful with those cross-court passes with how fast.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, Lake Stevens is feeling it right now. Eastlake looks a little off their game here as Lake Stevens. Uh-oh, look out. You left her too much space, but she misses it in a game of missed shots. Out of bounds, that's going to stay with Eastlake. This is a nice gym, good seating capacity. They took care of them well over here on this side of the valley for when they built this gym, huh, Todd?
They did.
And I like it on the other side, too. It's Snohomish.
Snohomish
Look at that pick by Chloe Patterson. Driving down with somebody riding her hip. That's going to be a foul. She's not happy because she didn't make the shot, but she's got a chance to close it to within 3. And that's going to go against Matsuoka. That's her 4th foul. Heading to the foul line is Patterson. She has not attempted a foul shot as of yet. 4 points in the game. Chance to cut it to 3. Yep, it's a 4-point lead. Back in for Lake Stevens. One of the big ones out there to help with the rebounding, Camille Gents. Now a chance to cut it to 3 points. 2:20 to go, fourth quarter. Just off. Then they want that one back. They will. There's Burton with another rebound. She's at double figures there. Throws it away. Down it goes. Count it. And a foul. Reed once again connects. Oh, my. 2-point lead for Eastlake. How about Lake Stevens? That one is going to go against Burton, her 3rd. They've committed 12 team fouls here in this second half. Reed at the line. Connects. She's 3 for 5 from the line. What a quarter she is having. Todd, she's got 16 points in the quarter, 20 in the game. 1 point lead for Eastlake. Oh, Heward cannot connect. Chance for the Vikings to get the lead, but they're going to throw it out of bounds. Got a little bit too anxious that time and excited and throw it out of bounds. They could have taken the lead with a basket. 1:59 to go, fourth quarter. This one has turned out great. Coaches are tearing their hair out though, but we got a foul called against Lake Stevens. It's going to be 1-1. They've got 18 fouls. This foul is called against Reed. She's up there now. She's got 4 fouls. Keep that in mind. Headed to the foul line is Emily Holston. She does not have any points, has not attempted a foul shot as of yet. Here we go. Count it. 2-point lead, 51-49. Well, this one's going tight right down to the wire. You can see that.
I knew it was going to be a good one.
Oh, out it goes. It's turned out that way, that's for sure. Lake Stevens can tie or take the lead here. Here they come out of backcourt, fancy dribbling. Don't get too carried away. There's Reed. Underneath, she had the right idea, finding Jentz, and Jentz just couldn't get the job done on the basket. We got a grab. Uh-oh. Reed kind of looking like, is it on her? No, this is going to go against Emma Lund. For Lund, that is her first foul, 19th foul. They go the other direction. Handed to the line with 1-1 is Keely Burton. She is 3 for 6 from the line. She'll have the 1-1 coming up. That's out of there. Vikings get the rebound. Good job by Jentz pulling that one down. Thomas into front court. You got an offensive foul. That's a big mistake right there.
Yeah, I saw her.
That one is going against Baylor Thomas, her second. 10 team fouls, courts player control, so no shots. Each team double bonus now. 1:35 to go, fourth quarter. It's a 2-point lead for Eastlake, the defending 4A state champions. Lake Stevens made it to the postseason last year, but went 0-2, finished 13-8 overall. Here come the Wolves in front court. Good fronting defense by Lake Stevens as they have a 2-on-1 against Burton. You have to. She is tough. 24 points in the game, almost thrown away. 1:10 to go, fourth quarter. And that's almost stolen. That's a big basket if she connects on it. Well, the clock went off for the shot clock, but they had hit the rim driving through. And she just flung that one up there. It does draw the foul. And going to the foul line will be Baylor Thomas. She will have 2 shots. And the foul is going to be against Caitlin O'Brien. That would be 5 on her. Double checking. That should be 5. He's holding up 5. That's what I have in my book. Yeah, that's what they have on the scoreboard. She's going to foul out of the game, Caitlin O'Brien, and replacing her will be Peyton Davidson. O'Brien with 7 points. Hit a 3-ball in the first quarter, 2-pointers in the second, and then again in the third. No points here in the fourth. At the foul line is Baylor Thomas. She's got a chance to tie it, Todd. All right, next foul shot would do that.
I think my pick would be Reagan Reed for Lake Stevens.
I think so. If they win this game, we're going to go with Reed. At least that's what it looks like at this point. If Eastlake can hang on, we'll go with Keely Burton. But we may have overtime. We may not be done for a while. She connects on both of them.
Tied game.
How about this? Fantastic. 51-51. Area 51. Here we are. Area 51 is at Glacier Peak High School right now. Look at the defense on the trap up high.
Boy, those
nearly
girls are
stolen
fast.
away, and we got a timeout called by Eastlake. 44 seconds to go, 51-51. And keep in mind, at the end of the third quarter, Eastlake led 38-24. So since that time, Todd, this is really something. Lake Stevens has scored 27 points in the fourth quarter. And we're not done with the fourth quarter yet, meaning they more than doubled what they scored through the first 3 quarters, and Eastlake has only scored 13 points. So Lake Stevens, and we could see it right from the get-go as we keep it here during the break, Lake Stevens came out. You could see right away that they were a different team coming out in the fourth quarter. Their defense really strong, and that forcing things, and then they've got stronger on the offensive end, and the big key, of course, Reagan Reed, who has a total of 16 points in the quarter, only had 4 through 3 quarters. So that's a big story right there. She's just been dynamite. She is playing with 4 fouls on her, though. Keep that in mind, especially if we go to overtime. Huge factor right there. She got called for a technical foul earlier, and that's one that Randy Edens goes, oh, why did she have to say something? But it happens. Emotions get going sometimes. We've all been there. 51 apiece after the timeout. 10 on the shot clock. Heward with the basketball. Over on the left side, getting control is the other player for Eastlake. That is Holson up top. Heward misses. Funks out of there, out of bounds. That's going to stay with Eastlake. Oh.
I think that was the right call.
They'll have the ball. They're going to talk about it. The officials will. It's going to stay with Eastlake, and it's always great when they confer like that. Each team with 10 team fouls. Each team with 51 points on the board. Coming back in for Lake Stevens for Reagan Reed will be Monet Rundle. And, you know, you got to make a move. You don't want her to get that 5th foul, and you got to be careful. They want to try a little something different defensively. No chime on the shot clock. 18 on the quarter clock. Burton over on the far right side. Handling the ball will be Holson. 12 seconds. Holson, left side, finds a player wide open over there off the back of the rim. And coming through after missing the shot will be Matsuoka. Misses again. 3 seconds. 2. If you make this, you win the ball game. Nope, that's going off the top of the backboard. And we are going to overtime.
You called it.
Oh, baby. This is fun. In the second annual Top of the Peak tournament, a great comeback for Lake Stevens in the fourth quarter. Wow, 27-13. They outscore Eastlake. We're going to take a break, come up with overtime action here on STSPN.com. What a great start of the day.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do-It-Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
We will have a jump ball. Good shot, overtime.
This is really something to get our day started. First of 4 games, and we're going to overtime as Lake Stevens tremendous in that fourth quarter. Great defense, forcing turnovers and kind of stifling Eastlake. We got a jump ball to start overtime, tied at 51. STSPN.com, broadcasting worldwide with a great audience. We thank you all for tuning in. Mark Ockett, Todd Elvig. And a dribbling violation, carrying the basketball, called against Eastlake. Eastlake now with 14 turnovers and a total of 12 for Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens windbound at midcourt. Lake Stevens erasing a 14-point deficit at the end of 3 quarters to force it to overtime. Reed playing with 4 fouls. Watch out. Drives in under the basket. She's going to have 2 shots coming up. Found a seam and then got hacked on her way in. That foul is going to go against Michaela Matsuoka. That should be 5 on her. Let's check. No, they just have her for 4. Okay. Just 4 on her. So Reed, first foul shot is good. Reed had 16 in the fourth quarter. Now has 21 in the game. Checking back in for Eastlake is Ava Schmidt. Coming out will be Peyton Davidson. A 1-point lead for Lake Stevens. Todd, it's been a long time since they've led in this game. Back early in the first half. Reed hits them both. What a game she's having. Holy smokes. 2-point lead. She is essentially offensively put Lake Stevens on her back and done a tremendous job. Burton underneath. Oh, look at the hands in there. Great defense by Jentz. The sophomore getting it done. Pass the other way. Reed, there she goes. In she goes. Lake Stevens is on fire. 4-point lead, 55-51. Eastlake doesn't know what hit him. Here come the Wolves out of backcourt. And they do a good job. Holson connects.
We got a text from a fan says Lake Stevens girls went double overtime to beat Snohomish on Saturday.
They're coming off that one, so they got some recent experience in that department. Here we go. And we love those viewers texting stuff in. We love it. We love it. We do a lot of prep and such, and then if you can add a little something here and there, we appreciate that. Eastlake with the basketball, 55-53. Down by 2. 2-pointer ties it. 3-pointer takes them in the lead. And there it is. 3-pointer. Ava Schmidt with now 10 points. They're back up on top. Lead switches hands for the 6th time. We've been tied twice. Overtime, 56-55. First game of the day. The second game will not start at 11:45.
I don't know about that one.
Last touch by Lake Stevens. Turnover number 13. Down by 1 point now. They worked so hard to get that lead and up to 4 points, but basketball is a game of runs, and a 5-0 run for Eastlake since that start here in the overtime by Lake Stevens. 18 on the shot clock. They've got some time to work with. Over on the left side now, an open play. Oh, she doesn't elect to shoot. Now says, okay, you're going to leave me wide open. And another great board by Jentz. She's played a strong second half. Excellent looking defensively out there at 6'4". The sophomore. There's Reagan Reed. Under 2 minutes to go in overtime. 1-point lead for Eastlake. Reed, 3-pointer. Oh! Are you kidding me? She hits another one. Her 4th 3-pointer of the game. Lake Stevens up by 2, 58-56. Reagan Reed, amazing performance here in the second half and overtime. And we got a foul coming up against Lake Stevens. That's going to go on Chloe Pattison, her 2nd. They'll go the other direction. It's going to be 2 shots for Ava Schmidt. Chance to tie it if she makes them both. 1:41 to go in the 4th quarter. First one perfect. Schmidt now 1 for 1 from the line. She hit the 3-pointer earlier here in overtime. Has a total of 11 points. It's not going to go to 12 anytime soon. There it is, out of bounds. Lake Stevens ball. Vikings lead by 1 point. Their biggest lead has been 4 points, which they had earlier here in this overtime period. Some pressure defense is working her way out of backcourt will be Baylor Thomas. Thomas driving all the way in, but riding her tight on the hip will be Emily Holson. Now I'm going to double check foul-wise for Holson. It's going to be 2 shots. That is 5 on Holson. I wanted to double check. She is done. Caitlin O'Brien and Emily Holson have both fouled out for Eastlake. Michaela Masuoka has 4 fouls, and checking back in will be Peyton Davidson. She's the designate to check back in when these players foul out, although she's seen other action in the game as well. At the foul line is Baylor Thomas, 11 points. Thomas is 3 for 6 from the line. No shots more important than what she's got right here. Gives Lake Stevens a 2-point lead, 1:32 left in the 4th quarter. We got a full day ahead of us.
Boy, I tell you what. If this is what's lined up for us, it's going to be a long day.
Glacier Peak and Lincoln up next. And she makes them both. Timeout, Lake Stevens. They lead 60-57 in overtime. They want to come in here and pick up a victory in their only game here in the tournament. Let's take a break. Back with more on STSPN.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
It's like a loot machine. Going around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
Todd, I really like that, which you put together during the fall. Follow us at all those different locations. So it's YouTube, STSPN.com, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram too.
That's correct.
You're everywhere. Eastlake will have the ball down by 3 points. 1:27 to go, fourth quarter as they come out of backcourt. Lake Stevens, an amazing run in the fourth quarter and overtime, up 60-57 here on STSPN.com. Eastlake in the maroon has it stolen away. Here comes Lake Stevens. Take your time, don't rush it. They do rush it and miss the shot. Chloe Pattison ends up with the basketball, goes out of bounds, last touch by Eastlake. 1:05 to go, fourth quarter. Here's 27 on the shot clock. You gotta just take your time, be patient here. You don't have to flush it down the basket quickly. Take your time. There's Reagan Reed with the ball, playing with 4 fouls on her.
She knows.
Picks up by Matsuoka. Driving through, Reed. Oh, short. Follow-up, that's huge. If she can get it to drop, and does! Camille Gentz. 3 points in the game. That's her first field goal. 5-point lead for the Vikings. Biggest lead of the game. 43 seconds to go. Fourth quarter. Over on the left side. They got to make something happen quickly. Burton double teamed again. Underneath. No! Misses. And a great rebound by Gentz. Up ahead she goes. Thomas. 25 on the shot clock. 27 on the quarter clock. There's a little kick, unintentional. And finally, an overplay. Davidson's going to be called for her first foul of the game. And that will send Lake Stevens to the line with 2 shots. At the line is Baylor Thomas. She's made her last 4 foul shots in a row. We got a timeout on the floor. Called by Eastlake. Lake Stevens leading 62-57. 23.9 on the clock. What a game. Back with more on STSPN.com. This has just turned into an incredible opening matchup, first of 4 games, as we lead you to the championship game coming up at 3:15 between Todd Beamer and Kent Ridge. Second annual Top of the Peak tournament, and you know the third one's going to be great too.
Oh, man.
And it's so much fun to be a part of this. We got 2 shots coming up. Once again, at the line is Baylor Thomas. She's got 13 points. This really can put icing on the cake. Gets it. 6-point lead. This is the biggest foul shot of the game right here. That would make it a 7-point lead in a 3-possession game with 23.9 to go. There it is. Gets it done. 15 points. Todd, why don't you get Sarah warmed up, ready to go? We want to talk to Reagan Reed. Unless something miraculous happens for Eastlake in 16 seconds. Burton way outside. Just let it wind down now. On the floor, we got a held ball. That's going to Lake Stevens, and this is going to be their ball game. What an incredible comeback. We're going to talk to Reagan Reed after we take a break. She will be the Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game, and rightfully so. What a performance. Lake Stevens coming out of as a foul. That's going to be against Ava Schmidt, her second, and 2 more shots. Baylor Thomas, who has made 6 in a row and 7 of her last 8 from the line, will go to the line again. And she has been money here down the stretch from the stripe, and that's what you want. Lake Stevens playing 3 rough quarters, and then fourth quarter and overtime have just been fantastic. And I tell you what, give the players a lot of credit, of course, but also give Randy Edens and the coaching staff a ton of credit too, because they literally flicked the switch, Todd, to the fourth quarter and were a completely different team out there. She misses them both, but 5 seconds coming up on the clock, and Lake Stevens is going to win this. How about that? A miss, and finally the buzzer goes off. Lake Stevens has done it. They have come through with a 64-57 win over the Eastlake Wolves, the defending 4A state champions. Lake Stevens just playing the one game here, replacing Garfield, and they are one and done with a victory. We're going to talk to Reagan Reed coming up in the post-game show. Again, final score is 64-57, and we'll be back with more as the next game getting set to go too. They'll start their warm-ups. We'll talk with Reagan Reed. It's STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200-plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible victory for the Lake Stevens Vikings. They come in here, play one game, and they get the job done.
Reagan.
64-57. The final score is Lake Stevens overcomes a 14-point deficit at the end of 3 quarters to come through with a huge fourth quarter and overtime. And the big offensive reason, no doubt about it, she's standing here with us right now. My favorite number in life, 22, Reagan Reed. Wow, player of the game. How about that?
That's crazy.
That is a program definer right there. You guys, and obviously we're struggling with the shooting in the first 3 quarters. We were frustrated for you. Even Eastlake was having trouble, but things got going in that fourth quarter. You came through with 16 points, hit 3 3-pointers, and not only that, but you led the charges with the ball handling. What happened between the third and fourth quarter? Because it looked like 2 different teams out there. Tell us about what Coach told you. Guys, ladies.
He just told us to just pick it up. Like, we've been through this now 3 times.
You got a friend that wants to give you a...
Oh, 1 second, Joseph.
All right, we got to...
But our first game, Arlington, it was close the whole time. And with Edmonds Woodway, it was overtime. Our last game was overtime, double overtime. So we just have been through it, and we know how to pull through. And our team has grown so much from last year to this year. It's like a completely different team. And we just knew, like, we weren't going to lose. There's no way. So
you got, and in your case, you are a senior, so you got that leadership out there for him. 1 of 3 seniors on the team, 2 juniors, 4 sophomores. So you got some senior experience, but also younger players. So it's so important that you seniors lead in leadership.
Yeah. We have a super young team. It was tough last year because there wasn't much experience, and the same thing, we had 3 seniors, but it's crazy how much the sophomores have grown, and that we have 4 sophomores starting and just 1 senior. Like, they've really stepped it up from last year to this year. It's crazy.
You're going to Boise State.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You're going to be a Bronco, and I'm sure you're familiar with the Palcoa sisters,
Yeah.
the twins that played at Lake Stevens and went over there as a package deal. So now you get to go to Boise State. That's a great program. You get a good education over there. And when you go to football games, you can see the Smurf turf.
I know. I'm so excited.
How did it come to be that you decided to go to Boise State?
It was just the coaches, really, and their style of play. Like, I've never came across a coach or all the staff that is just so, like, genuine, and they care for every individual player, and they're just so invested in everything that I do. So
that's fantastic. So up next for you, another non-league game. That'll be at home against Inglemoor coming up on Thursday, and then back into league play. This won't be easy. You got Glacier Peak at home on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, we've been able to pull through this whole season, and all these teams that we played, we've lost to last season. So I'm just excited to see what we can do this season.
Fantastic. All right, we'll let you go. We got to get ready for the next game between Glacier Peak and Lincoln. Congratulations, Reagan Reed. You are our player of the game. Hold that T-shirt out. Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. You get the goods, and that'll be posted on STSPN.com all the way across. Congratulations. Have fun. We'll see you later in the season.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.